bollards, and dolphins. What? Which is which? So fairleads have a roller attached to them. Its purpose is to guide mooring lines, like these ones. Chocks are structural reinforcements to direct mooring lines to or from shore. These guys are like hybrid roller fairlead chocks. We call them roller chocks. They are also used to guide mooring lines. Bollards are mostly found ashore for securing mooring lines. Sometimes you can also find them on ships. Bitts are just double bollards. On my ship, they are used to secure tug lines or fire lines. Dolphins are, well, these guys. Dolphins are piles driven into seabed to provide a platform or fixing point. So from afar, you'd think it's a beacon or buoy. They can be used as moorings, but for big ships, I never use them personally. Second one, channel, straits, and canals. Strait is a narrow water body connecting two larger water bodies. Examples such as Singapore Strait or Strait of Gibraltar. Most importantly, they are naturally formed. Channels are simply much wider straits, like the English Channel. Canals, on the other hand, is a man-made strait, artificially dug by humans. Examples are Suez Canal and Panama Canal. Third one, Gulf and Bay. This one is quite confusing because terminology is not defined. Gulf is enclosed by two or more province, state, or country and connected to another sea. Examples are Gulf of Aden and Gulf of Mexico. Bay is still enclosed on three sides by land, but with a wide mouth that opens into the ocean or another water body. Most of them are circular or semicircular, i.e. you can have a small beach that is considered a bay, or something as large as Hudson Bay. Now, Bay of Bengal is a big exception. Even though it's way bigger than Gulf of Mexico, it's still considered a bay. Fourth, a stern, a beam. A stern and a beam are directions. For example, if the ship was moving backwards, I'd say engines moving astern. Stern without the A is the aft end location of the vessel. A beam is the direction 90 degrees looking out from the bridge, and beam is usually the location perpendicular to the bridge. Fifth, tidal stream and current. They aren't the same thing. Tidal stream is, as its name suggests, caused by tidal factors, i.e. rising and falling of the water level due to astronomical forces, mainly the moon. So it can change throughout the day. Current, on the other hand, is caused by wind and thermohaline, aka temperature and salt imbalance. 6. Weathertight and watertight doors. Weathertight doors are usually found above the main deck. Weathertight means it should not leak under heavy sea conditions. Watertight doors are found under the waterline, such as the one inside the cargo holds. The main difference is that watertight can handle heavy water pressure from both sides, say for example when submerged. However, the confusing part is that sometimes they look very similar. Back when I was a cadet, I thought the spin wheel ones were watertight. That's not always the case. The only one to make sure is of course by checking the general arrangement, aka the blueprint of the ship. 7. Gross tonnage and net tonnage. This one I always have trouble remembering. It's one of those things that I leave behind at school. Gross tonnage is the volume of all enclosed space on ship, including the engine room, bow thruster room, stores, accommodation, etc. While net tonnage is the cargo carrying spaces on the ship, so it's like measuring the money-making capability. Why does this matter? Well, a lot of ports, anchorage, and pilotage fees are calculated based on net tonnage. So if you use gross tonnage, you might be paying a lot more. 8th, a hitch, a knot. A knot is used to join two ropes together or a rope to itself. If done correctly, a knot will hold shape regardless of being fixed to something else. A hitch is used to fix a rope to another object, such as a pole, and rely on that object to hold. 9. Draft and depth. One of the port state control inspector came onto my ship and asked what's the available draft displaying on the ectus. Now, obviously, I didn't want to correct him or embarrass him. I knew he meant to ask what's the available depth in that area. Depth is how much available water there is, or how deep. Draft is how deep the ship is sitting in the water. It's one of those terms that just rolls off the tongue accidentally sometimes. Number 10. Superstructure and accommodation structure. Superstructure is by definition a construction above existing structure. So in shipping, it is everything above main deck except any mast or sails. While accommodation, well, it's simply just the living area. A good example would be the Monkey Island and funnel. It is part of the superstructure but not the accommodation. 11. Derricks and cranes. This one I'm not entirely sure, so if I have it wrong, let me know in the comments down below. A derrick's lateral and vertical motion is controlled by one set of lines, and the lifting is done on a separate set of lines. Usually involving some sort of pulley system, they are more stationary. A crane main difference is that they have a lot more freedom to move around, mostly operate on gears and hydraulics. Container gantry crane, for example, can move the base on wheels and move the loads up, down, left, right, anywhere. Some can swing almost up to 360, only limited by limit switch. 12. Swing circle and turning circle. One of my cadets was confused about this one. Swing circle is used in anchoring to draw the limits. See my anchoring video here. A turning circle is the vessel's maneuvering characteristics. Simply put, it shows how the ship will behave when putting the wheel at hard over. 13. Gangways and accommodation ladder. Gangway are set up perpendicular to the ship. Think cruise ships. Accommodation ladders are set up in line with the ship's length and can be used in conjunction with pilot ladders. This is the one that my ships always mix up. Everyone, including myself, call our accommodation ladders as gangways. 14. Capstan and windlass. On yachts and sailing boats, these two terms can be interchangeable. On larger commercial ships, windlass has a horizontal axis, while capstan has a vertical axis. 15. Density and specific gravity. This one is more for the tanker people, which I never worked on tankers, but density is the mass over volume, so think comparing the difference between water and thick clay or cement. Specific gravity is the ratio of density to the density of another reference substance. If you are an engineer, most likely you have to record it in a logbook or something after bunkering.